Warning, you're about to witness some grown men argue about a Star Wars TV show that's probably for kids, but not until later on. Viewer discretion is advised. Fighting in all sorts of ways, including siblings bickering for no other reason. Aren't they fun? Anyways, Domino Squad is struggling to get through a simple American Ninja Warrior obstacle course. Just try to get them to be one of the most useless clone ranks in the entire galaxy. After they stop fighting, they regroup and guard a boring outpost where they are attacked by ninjas and all the like, with a sacrifice that leads out to absolutely nowhere. Except it leads to a battle on Kameo, where General Grievous and Ventress attack the city to steal the DNA of clones. But not until Anakin and Obi comes to save the day. Again, come with us and explore the beauty of Star Wars The Clone Wars with Patrick and Colin on the one, the only, Cantina Cuisine. Welcome back to Cantina Cuisine. We are on week, is it 4? I'm pretty sure it's week 4.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's week 4. I don't know. I haven't lost count at this point, but welcome back to Clone Wars Arc Recaps. We are so excited for today because this is probably one of my favorite story arcs of all time. One that I definitely watched a lot as a kid, and one episode that I probably watched the most. I don't have a counter, but I definitely in my mind knew that I definitely watched that one of the episodes a lot. But we're here to talk about Domino Squad, Heavy, Fives, Echo, Cut Up, and whoever the other one is. Droid Bait, that's right, Droid Bait, yeah. But anyways, we're so excited. I'm even excited because we got a couple of one of my favorite clones in the series. And yeah, we're going to have some fun talking about it in the next hour and 10 minutes as we try to finish up on that amount of time. My name is Patrick. Actually, no, my name is actually CT88888, also known as 8.
And my name is Colin, but you can call me Captain or Sir.
Which one was that from?
That was from Rookies.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That was a Rex quote when he meets the rookies. You can call me Captain or Sir.
Okay.
But that's also what you can call me for the remainder of this episode. So none of this calling garbage or uncle or whatever else.
I'll call you probably garbage. Anyways. All right. Well, I don't know how you feel, but I'm feeling pretty good. We got like what? 3 out of the 4 arcs that we've covered. No, not 3 of the 4. 2 of the 4 arcs being amazing. 3 of the 4 at least being okay, well, around that level. So I felt really confident about going into this one because, again, I love Domino Squad. I love the arc. I love Fives and Echo, and I love the impact that they have throughout the entire show, and that they're not one-off characters, which is amazing. And just their story arcs in general, just being able to build up to what they are today. So I don't know. What did you think of Domino Squad? Do you have any hard feelings or?
No, this is an interesting one because, again, I've watched this entire series through more than once, but I've never watched it chronologically like this, as far as like the story arcs and the order that they're supposed to take place in. And I think what's interesting about this one is that I have a viewpoint that's different watching it in this order than I do any other time I watch it, because Rookies was really the episode that won me over on the series. Like, oh, this show's gonna be different. It's gonna be great. It's really gritty and not exactly what you expected. And that was sort of the moment where I'm like, this show is gonna be something else. And by the time you get to season 3 and they're bringing this back around, it's not done so clearly that you immediately recognize it. And I think one of the things that makes it even more interesting is that when we see everything that happened, particularly with Five's character, when we get into the later seasons, with the Order 66 stuff, it puts a completely different spin on this. So I feel like this is something that you view it one way when you first watch the series through, the season 1 episode and then the season 2 episodes, they're kind of their own standalone things where you're like, oh, that's kind of a cool connecting dot they have. And then you view it completely differently when you watch in this order. But then there's a third way to view this, which is where you consider what this is going to lead to. And this is classic, George Lucas magic here, where he apparently, and he was probably done partially as a joke, but probably also there's some truth to it. When the TV show Lost was wrapping up, he actually told the showrunners of Lost, he wished them luck on the finale, and he says the secret is to make people think that you planned everything from the beginning, you know? And
Yeah.
that's kind of the way I view this story arc, is that there is nothing here that indicates they knew where this squad was going to go in the much later seasons, particularly the fives. But there's some fun little things that you can look in here and retroactively go back and say, like, ooh, maybe this is actually foreshadowing things, even though that wasn't the original plan.
Yeah, and even for Echo as well, because we get a lot of him later on as well. Probably even more than fives, honestly, because we get a lot of him in Bad Batch. So yeah, I love fives. I love Echo. I love pretty much all the clone Domino Squad except for Droid Bait and Cut Up. Who cares about them? Anyways, we actually don't see Cut Up in Rookies, don't we? Or do we?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a blur because everybody's in helmets for the whole episode. And at that point, they didn't realize that these characters were going to mean anything more.
Well, I mean, I know we had Droid Bait, and I know we had the other three, so I was wondering if Cut Up was even made the cut, or maybe he just died somewhere randomly.
He made the cut.
Hey, that was not on purpose, okay? I'll just have you know that.
No, the secret is to make them think you planned it that way from the beginning. You're spoiling it.
Well, I can't do that, apparently. So, George Lucas, don't hire me. Dave Filoni, don't hire me. Also, by the way, as we're recording this, hooray, Kathleen Kennedy is leaving. Woohoo!
I am not excited about that, and I'll tell you why. Again, at the time we're recording this, the James Bond series is officially done from the family that ran it for over 60 years. It is now fully in the hands of the studio. If Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down, they'd better get somebody else to win, because people throw a lot of hate on her for things that she doesn't have the final say on. I think that Disney is, like Amazon and like other studios, the issue that takes a lot of creative control away. They're going to need somebody to come in there who can at least stand the same ground she does, so that they don't go further down the toilet.
Well, as long as they do Dave Filoni, then I'm perfectly fine with it. If they do Rian Johnson, then I'll probably just commit suicide. Anyways. All right, let's get going. So we're actually going to first start off in season 3. As we know, this is a little bit of a jagged kind of story arc here, because again, George Lucas made it look like he planned everything, but it actually didn't. So anyways, we're starting with season 3, episode 1, Clone Cadets, which again, I like the episode. It's probably not my top favorite, but it's definitely up there as one of the better ones. The opening line of wisdom: brothers in arms are brothers for life. And we'll get to learn later on what that entails for especially one clone in particular. I am sad that she's not with us anymore, but I mean, like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of useless to build up this character and then just having him murdered in Rookies, but I don't know. Again, make it look like he planned everything. So yeah, we start by learning that the Republic is rushing these clones to try and get to the battlefield because they're running out of numbers and because they got to overwhelm the droid army. So now they're having these bounty hunters. I forget the names of them, but I know I have them later down written now. But we have these 2 bounty hunters working with Jedi General Shock.
Brick.
Sorry?
Brick and LS.
Oh yes, LS. Right. Yeah. So, and then we have General Shakti, who gets murdered in Revenge of the Sith, but we don't actually know that. Anyways, R.I.P. Shakti. Anyway, so yeah, we got them and the bounty hunters working together to try and train these clone cadets. Honestly, first off, I'm going to start off by saying this. I had no idea the Jedi even considered hiring bounty hunters. Like, it's kind of a little bit of a weird thing where they're usually on the Separatist side and they're just hiring them. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, I haven't even heard of these guys, so maybe they're not so bad. But in general, I don't even think the Jedi even associated with bounty hunters at that point.
Yeah, this is one of these weird things where you have to imagine Star Wars as a much bigger world than what you see on screen. Because, I mean, we have bounty hunters in real life, and bounty hunters are essentially law enforcement officers. They are hired by law enforcement to track people down. They're basically subcontracted, police officers to apprehend people and bring them in. And I think because our association with bounty hunters in Star Wars came from like the time of the Empire, where they would have no use for those people. So they were mostly rogue people. But if you go back to, even the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, I think that they sort of, they lay the groundwork that's like, this is literally just a job that most people do. You just happen to have a couple who are, maybe a little bit greedy and willing to work with other people. But it really is Jango Fett even evil? He was offered a job and he did his job. So yeah, I like to look at when we see these bounty hunters that this is like regular world bounty hunters. Oh, can you contact the Union of Bounty Hunters? We need a couple of good trainers.
Well, we have one good trainer at least, another one who's
Yeah.
basically an abusive mother. But
Yeah.
anyways, but yeah, we get this awesome little bit of a prelude to the Citadel. We'll get that later on. I don't remember where that is, but it's probably halfway through our watch list when we get to the Citadel. I'm actually very excited for that one. That one's going to be interesting to talk about. But yeah, we get this little simulation where they train the clones and they have to get through the course and take the green, whatever that is. I don't even know what it's called, but anyways. But yeah, we get this Domino Squad to be able to take this practice run, and they fail miserably. We get a little bit of an intro as to why they are called what they're called. Like Heavy, he repeats every word in every order and everything, and he never adapts. Fives is also lightheaded. CT7HU, which I think is either heavy or cut up. I don't even know. Fun fact, I'll give you a little bit of a fun fact later on about cut up and heavy when we get there. But yeah, it doesn't look like they're working together as a team for obvious reasons. They failed the test, obviously. And we come to the dorms where a good joke comes in, where they or cut up is like, oh, I could impress a lot of girls, and he's like, you never met one.
Yeah.
So it's I found that pretty funny. Domino Squad gets in another scramble because they can't get along, and obviously this is movie tropes where people can't get along, and yada 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 yada. Master Chief, no, not Halo. Get your mind out of the gutter, losers. He gives a speech. And he actually gets a good line and calls out the future name of the Bad Batch, directed at 99, just being like they're a bunch of Bad Batch clones. So that's honestly.
Just pause for a second. That their original number before they were the Bad Batch was like what, Squad 99 or something?
Yeah, it was Squad 99.
Yeah. That's cool.
So,
that's a cool addition.
Yeah, and that's again make it look like you planned everything. Yeah. So like exactly. So. It's poetry. It rhymes.
That's the memo that J.J. Abrams didn't get when he made The Rise of Skywalker.
That's the memo for J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson when they made the sequel. So
yeah.
It's so screw you two. You guys just screwed up everything for Star Wars.
Which sorry to sidetrack already, but I mean it's especially frustrating when it comes to J.J. Abrams because you started it and you couldn't make it look like you planned it from the beginning.
Well, again, Rian Johnson decided to throw J.J. Abrams' ideas in the trash, so how could he? Anyways. Yeah, J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, don't direct a Star Wars project ever again. I'm happy that they canceled the Rian Johnson trilogy. Anyways, but yeah, we get this little comment from them. Shaq T gets to meet. I don't know why I wrote it as Shaw T. I think I just might have mistyped it. So Shaw is apparently in the Star Wars universe. So thank you for your decent Wi-Fi connections and all that. Yeah, Shaq T gets to meet with the Prime Minister to talk about the Domino Squad and just how they're failing miserably. Again, it's probably talking, making poetry like it rhymes with the whole Domino Squad and like Bad Batch in the future because of the Bad Batch of clones. Anyways, yeah, they're also talking about other donors because obviously Jango Fett is dead and they're trying to reproduce clones, and it's just honestly like I feel like that should have been a storyline where they explored more, but it's like. I don't know. It's like I feel a little bit disappointed that they did it because it's mentioned in this episode and only this episode. Like I don't even know if it's mentioned anywhere else. But like if something
technically yes, but not in the current continuity. I'll get to that.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to the continuity that you have, and I also have a question for you later on about that because about something else which I will get to later. But anyways, they talk about such and such, and we all come to the platform where we get a bunch of these clone cadets. They're just standing there trying to look pretty in front of the Arc Troopers. Again, they're not introduced in the Revenge of the Sith technically, but we get this now, so it's okay. They're not ripping themselves off. Anyways. So yeah, they get to discuss the final test and how rule number 1, you always fight together and all that. So it's basically friendship is everything. Woohoo. Friendship in the Star Wars universe. Anyways, yeah, Bravo Squad gets to go first. Nice name. And they are probably the best one because they get to because they do it in the best time that they get a comment on. So yeah, and now they do it very well. Domino Squad comes in. They make a nice comment to the Domino Squad saying what it's time to watch dominoes fall, which I found very funny, and I like that line. The Domino Squad goes into play, and they're doing a little bit better, but they are also commented on for being a little bit sloppy. And that just causes droid bait, hence the name, getting killed first, and well, not killed, but like stunned. And then they just all abandoned him. And now they stopped the test because they just broke rule number 1. And I'll be honest, I'm a little stupid, but I would be definitely following rule number 1. So you clones are so stupid, and I can't fare you better.
And you're with them.
So you're saying that I'm a clone now, huh?
No, you said you were stupid like the clones. So
I said I'm stupid, but I'm not like the clones.
Oh, okay. So you're implying you're smarter.
Yes, I'm implying I'm smarter because I would be able to follow rule number 1. Because I always follow rule number 1, except for my parents' rule number 1s. Anyways, but yeah, they fail, and Arc Trooper goes off on them, and they fail the test. So they're probably going to be put to 99 because of Brick is making this comment to try and to Shaak Ti to try and get him to 99 stuff. Ellis is an interesting character. Like, I find that he's one of the better bounty hunters and a better enthusiast. Not doing it for the money, which honestly I thought that they would not create a character like this. Like, I thought that the enthusiastic one would be Shaak Ti in this instance, but like, yeah, making one of the bounty hunters have a little bit of a charismatic heart is honestly pretty cool.
It's one of those things that tie into what I keep bragging on each episode we do. This is that this is based on real wartime things, and during the war there were rich millionaires and there were celebrities who said, I'm going to enlist because it's my duty. And I kind of look at it the same way here. He's like, this is a war and we all have to do our part. He's playing his part here.
Yeah. But yeah, they get to have a talk in the dorms, and they talk about the clones and how they are either going to go to 99 or they're going to go and do the final test again, which Ellis is trying to apply. There we go. I'm going so fast I've lost track of my notes. Anyways, Fives and Echo, the worst people to get along with because they just don't seem to get along at all. Just like me and Elijah. I think my uncle can attest to that. Or is it me and Elijah, or who do you think is the worst of the two to get along with?
Oh, you and Elijah bicker like a married couple.
Actually,
always have.
Actually, was it your move that someone made the comment about us arguing like a married couple?
Oh, I don't know. It was probably any time.
Well, I think it was especially when you were near Grant Park because we were moving and we were both bickering for no reason. Or actually, I think it was Uncle Ian that called us a married couple.
Yeah.
So, and then we were
that's siblings. I mean, my kids, there's not really any combo, but my kids will be like, you're not supposed to do that. And it's like, hey, don't tell me what to do.
Well, again, it's kids. They bicker. Yeah. So,
surprise. Like clones.
Hey, they're not that stupid. They're just, their brains are developing. It's just like they did genetic.
Some of them just didn't.
Like me. And the ADHD. Anyways. So yeah, they try to go to Shaak Ti Shaw Ti. We're creating words on this channel. We're now up to 4 Shaw Ti. So congratulations, Shaw Ti. You're being mentioned on Cantina Cuisine. I don't think you care much. Anyways, they get the request to try to be moved to a different squad. Like, that's the problem. Like, you guys don't see the problem as you guys. Like, you're both going in there to request to be moved to a different squad together. Like, you're just going to bring the other squad down. Like, clones are stupid. So, anyways, she reveals that she gets to do the test again the next day, and she says that she's a Jedi, they're clones, and that everything has a balance, and blah 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 Jedi stuff. Anyways, here's the thing that I was a little bit mixed up on when I was a kid, because this clone that we get this scene where it's raining and we get the clone meeting up with Brick. I thought this was heavy. I thought that this clone was just heavy, and then he just tried to counter him, and then he got the name cut up, and then he got and the reason why he was a little bit mad about 99 calling him heavy was that he already had his name changed. So as a kid, I thought this was heavy, but now that I know is actually cut up. So congratulations, cut up. You were mixed up like all the other clones. I couldn't tell you apart from anybody because you had the same.
That's racist.
Hey! It's not racist. It's clonus. Okay, there's a difference. Word number 5, by the way, clonus. Anyway, so yeah, they argue. Cut up gets his name because he's just a cut up. Heavy tries to escape, but 99 comes in to reason with him, and hence the whole message about brothers being together and just gives him a pep talk and gives him the name Heavy because he is putting all the burden on his shoulders, which he shouldn't be. Um, it's the next day now, and the Domino Squad get to actually take their final test with Heavy not leaving. He then gets the certified leadership badge, I guess, as we could call it, because he actually is acting like a true leader. And they come to the test. They're doing a lot better this time. They come to the wall where they're supposed to use their cables, but surprise, surprise, they don't got their cables because Brick wants them to fail. Now, I have a little bit of a question. Are you actually a Separatist spy, Brick? Or are you just being a piss off? That's my question for you, and that's my question for Colin to see if he thinks that of myself, if my reasons are okay with that.
It's an interesting idea. I don't think they ever explore that, though, because I don't think we ever hear from Brick again, do we?
No, we don't. At least I don't know, actually. I wish we did, because I think that idea of Separatists being a spy is a bounty hunter being a spy for the Separatists actually is a cool idea.
It could have him show up in season 2, taking a little bit of money under the table from Cad Bane, and then it explains it all.
Exactly. So I don't know if you think that theory is true, but I kind of think that this theory is true because he's always been like a little bit of a misfire when it comes to that. Because if your idea of bounty hunters in real life doing it because they're line of duty, it's like it doesn't make a lot of sense at that point. Like, could they just hire someone else better who actually believes in clones and not trying to put them down? But anyways, we can talk about those reasons later. And now they learn to adapt, actually, because they decide, I don't know why no one else has thought about this, but they shoot the turrets on the wall, and now they are able to climb it. And they're able to climb on the top of the tower. And now we get to finish with a cool shot where Shaw T is sending them away. And, we get Arc Trooper just being able to just give the command, and now we get a cool shot of them walking to the ship. Exactly. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that, people, but I am sorry. I say sorry in advance because my singing is not worse than whatever Colin did.
Oh, it definitely is.
Anyways, this isn't the episode I'm talking about when I'm talking about the watching, but it's definitely one of them. Like, I do love this episode where, again, no Jedi are involved with the plot except for Shaw T. But yeah, like, it's a clone-focused episode, and I love the fact that we got a lot of these, and how next episode we're going to talk about where we get to go with rookies, and how, again, the Jedi aren't really that involved, and the clones already seem to hold up for themselves. So, I don't know. What do you think about all that?
First, I'm going to break our rhythm here and ask a peek behind the scenes here. I keep wondering why there's a piece of blue masking tape, it looks like, on your door.
Oh, that's my friend. That's a result from my roommates. He wrote out he wrote out on there to do better at my exact height. So every time I leave my house, every time I leave my room for work or whatever, it's just, I read that line, just do better. So,
you could call it motivation, or you could call it insults, but okay.
It's probably more insult. It's probably more insult than motivation.
I'm gonna tape one to my camera here so you could learn to do this better too. Anyways,
hey, this is probably my fastest recap I've ever done. So
you're speedy here. You're speedy, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
So honestly, I don't have that much to add on the story of this episode because, being perfectly honest, it is not a knock against this. This is a perfectly fun, entertaining, but ultimately meaningless episode. This is what you get when you say, do you want to do a prequel to introduce these characters? I'm glad we have it because we get some of those ideas that are not planned from the beginning, but you can say later on was planned from the beginning. But some of the cool things we get to see here, just it connects a lot to what we saw in the movies that you're expanding on. Like, for example, when Obi-Wan is touring the clone facilities on Kameo in Attack of the Clones, they just simply say, oh, we take great pride in our combat training. And, and then he says combat training and education. You then see the education thing with like the kids, but we never actually see combat training. That's the one thing when he's taking the tour we don't see. So this is like glimpse inside something that Attack of the Clones didn't show you. It's also very American Gladiators like. I don't know if you've ever seen American Gladiators or familiar with it.
No, I have not seen that before.
It's just been added to Amazon. There were 2 series. There's one series from like the 90s, which is how I watched when I was a kid. And then they rebooted it in like 2008 or something like that. But imagine the show Wipeout, but it's actually for like very athletic people. And you have a cast of characters that are essentially bodybuilders or athletes that are meant to prevent your person from winning, you know? So they go through these obstacle courses and stuff. And this looks exactly like an American Gladiators challenge they have, where they actually have like a target range. By the way, Star Wars connection, American Gladiators, before she actually acted in anything, but after she was, you know, a famous MMA fighter, Gina Carano got started on the reboot of American Gladiators in 2008. So a future Star Wars actor came from American Gladiators. Back to this though. I mean, seeing some of the personalities of the clones is funny. I like, although anytime they give like these, you know, the type of lines you get from like a grizzled war veteran in like an old war movie, like less yapping and more blasting, you know, stuff like that is fun. And then the whole thing is like, I said to her, baby, me and you could really, and it's like, hey, shut up. You never even met a girl before. Getting introduced to Fives is interesting because like he's going to play such an important part later on. Yeah. And this is where I feel like the squad failing is never explained in this episode. So I judge this episode maybe a little bit more harshly because when I said it's kind of meaningless, at the time when they made this, there was no plans as far as we know for where these characters were going to go. But when you see that it's like there's something that's holding these guys back and we don't know what it is, you can later, when we get to their story arcs later on, we get to the Order 66 stuff, you could be like, oh, there was something in the programming here that was probably to blame. But I have to ask, watching this episode, why is nobody more concerned? These are clones. They are designed to take any order. You know, it is not just we trained you for combat. 99 is an interesting idea in that, you know, there's a defect. You know, I think a lot of people misinterpret it as being like an old man, like this was one of the first clones. I think he's still meant to be one of the first clones, which is why he has the 99 number. But again, you have to remember they're given the growth acceleration and everything. So he would be no older than, you know, Commander Cody or Captain Rex or anything like that. Whatever his defect was in the cloning just caused him to look deteriorated and old. But it's a fun idea that they're playing on with that. But you know, with him, they're like, oh, we've done studies, we know what's wrong with him. They really should be asking questions. What are wrong with these guys? Because it's going to lead somewhere later on. Nobody seems to care. And also the fact is, you know, when you get to the Order 66 stuff later on, I mean, it's very specifically not even all of them. So do we ever get an explanation why even the ones who aren't affected with their implants at this point, not to spoil too much for later on, suck so bad on the battlefield? The other thing that I think I hold against this episode is not Shaak Ti's involvement, but the fact that it only comes down to her giving a pep talk in the exact same way that we saw Yoda do an ambush. Now, I get at the time this aired, this was 2 years later, right? Mm-hmm. But watching these back to back, you're like, we literally just saw this exact same scene with Yoda in the cave. Bringing Shaak Ti in is fantastic because she's a character that got the short end of the stick when it came to the movies, really through no fault of anything other than that's just you know what happens when you're making movies. When Phantom Menace came out and even Attack of the Clones, there's no way to really even illustrate how crazy the Star Wars fans were for all the background Jedi you got specifically, because it had all, even in the original trilogy days, people would see these background characters at Jabba's palace and you'd buy those action figures. Like, this character just looks cool. But now you had Jedi. So when you get to Attack of the Clones and you're seeing half of these Jedi on the battlefield, people would get so excited about them, you know, like, oh, this Jedi. I mean, you know, what one of your other uncle's favorites is we're going to be getting coming up, you know, the next time we talk, 2 weeks or whatever, we do the Malevolence trilogy, because you would just see a Jedi who looked really cool and you'd imagine, what is this Jedi like? Shaak Ti was meant to be one of the few Jedi featured in Revenge of the Sith. And people can still see her deleted scene because the idea is that when they're going to rescue Chancellor Palpatine at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, Shaak Ti was already there. And they're like, we don't know why. There's talk about, we don't know why she's not reporting. We don't know why, you know, she's there. And that scene got cut. You could still see the scene where basically she is like found by Obi-Wan and Anakin. And she's like, I failed the Republic. I failed you. And then she's beheaded. Pretty dramatic scene. It's just, it wouldn't have flowed quite so well in the movie. But George Lucas kind of knew I wanted to do something with this character. So the original Clone Wars, you know, micro series from 2003, right, when they did the second season that actually was the Battle of Coruscant, the prelude to Revenge of the Sith, it was all about her. So her character has a big presence, and it was good to be able to see her here where she's actually getting to do more than just do action stuff. The one other thing I found interesting about this is the whole DNA being stretched thing I was talking about, right? Mm-hmm. You know, they said we don't have Jango Fett anymore, and we're really stretching his DNA. Like it's hard work here. That's not something they ever really explore too much in the movies. Although there are always these fan theories about why do stormtroopers have such terrible aim, right? And fans would actually kind of create their own theories where they'd say there's no fresh sample of Jango Fett's DNA, so it's going to degrade over time, which would be true, right? They're not saying that's what these clones are, but that's something that's being discussed here that's never really brought up again much in the future. The other thing is there was novels. So before Disney came on, before they decided to make episode 7, 8, and 9, there were a bunch of novels that took place post Return of the Jedi. You know, there was the Thrawn trilogy, obviously. One of the big ones was the New Jedi Order series, which is like a series of like 20 something books. And then after that, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was, I can't remember what the series was called, but it basically would be like the end of, everything. It was like, Luke's kids and Han and Leia's kids have taken over. And it was really about rediscovering the Force and what were we missing. Some stuff we're going to be getting into when we get to like the Mortis trilogy later on, were sort of ideas they use in that book trilogy. But my favorite one of those was actually a book called Bloodlines, which involved a subplot where Boba Fett was dying. And he's like, I got to get back to Kamino because there might be a sample there that can save my lives. And it sort of became a plot there. So it's a very interesting idea. I wish they'd gone a little bit further with. Best trivia bit in this is when they're loading the training program, they say like load program Virgin THX variable 1138, which of course THX 1138 was George Lucas's first film. And, both the letters THX and the number 1138 factors into every movie he's ever made. So have you ever seen or heard anything about THX 1138?
No.
Okay. It is a weird movie. Okay. But absolutely brilliant movie. Something I challenge you to check out one of these days. I mean, the only other thing to add when they get the whole thing at the end, their American Gladiator battle and everything when they win it, it's again, there should be a lot bigger of a deal made about this. Like, so these guys, we don't know why they sucked in the first place. We also don't know why they're excelling, because really no clone should be able to excel more than another clone when they're in the same environment. They are clones. Mm-hmm. I know it sounds kind of nitpicky, but it's still a fun episode. It's one of these things that you could have done without this one. This one exists so that you could introduce these characters, because when they made the next one, Rookies, they were just side characters and nobody thought anything else of.
Yeah. I was looking up the book that you were talking about with the Han Solo and kids taking over. I found a Wikipedia page. Is Celestia ring any bells?
Celestia? No, not
Children of the Jedi by Barbara Hambly.
So I have the Children of the Jedi book. I couldn't tell you if I remember anything about it.
Yeah. It's Children of the Jedi, Darksaber, and Planet of Twilight as those trilogy. So I don't know if that rings a bell for your book that you were talking about, but I tried to search it up and that's the only thing that really came up.
I'll find it.
Okay.
I'll find what the series was. It was a very good series. It was definitely some of these characters have overstayed their welcome. At some point you got to let go of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and everything, but bringing in Boba Fett was a very inspired idea they did there.
Yeah. And I agree. Although I am on the higher end of the episode because I get it that it's no point to it, but it's just so fun. Like I cannot it's just seeing the dynamic of the clones and trying to have them get along. Like it's just something that I like to see, and I get your little frustration about we just resolved this by a pep talk with the clones, but like it's like. Again, it's like if we're viewing it from season to season, like it wouldn't be that much of a big deal, and that's where I'm kind of like put in there. It's like it's not about that much of a big deal. Like each clone needs to have a pep talk, but like you said, it's just soldiers. Like it's just like the army. Like everybody needs a pep talk every once in a while. So like I get where you're going with, but I do on the one hand being like it's probably a little bit better than what probably more on the brighter side than you being like it's just a useless episode, which. I don't think it's useless, but I do think that it's a lot better than what it's going for.
Just one quick correction here. So Bloodline was not. I'm going to look up the title. Bloodline was a different book series, but I'm going to find the one here that is actually the big. It was a 9-book series they did, because I want to give a recommendation if anyone wants to read a good expanded universe novel. That would be the one to read.
Are they also on Star Wars Legends? Like did they put it as the Legends category or?
So what is Legends again?
Star Wars Legends is short like stories that are taking place after like either after Return of the Jedi or before like the Order came around and Disney just retconned those books as legends.
Oh yeah. These are the ones that are not officially considered canon anymore. But yeah, it would be part of the Star Wars Legends. Yeah.
Okay. Just as a question, because I know I haven't dug into much of the legend stuff, but I am interested in checking it out every once in a while. I was gonna ask you a couple questions about certain stuff, but I know you're researching the book series that you want to go for.
I can multitask because I'm smart. I'm not like a clone.
Hey,
go for it.
My first question, it's more of an opinion based because we get actually our first look at the new helmets in this episode because we have the Arc Troopers with the Revenge of the Sith helmets because they have the little beard like what's those breathing nostril kind of things on the bottom of the helmets. I'm wondering, just from your opinion, which design do you actually like better, the Revenge of the Sith clone armor, or do you like the Attack of the Clones armor?
I mean, I like the Revenge of the Sith because it makes them their own thing more. You know, I can remember when Attack of the Clones was first announced and they showed that clone armor for the first time. And to me, I didn't immediately connect the dots. I just saw Stormtrooper, you know? And of course, what they really did was they blended the Mandalorian army with Stormtrooper army there, but it always looked just a little bit more Stormtrooper like for me, which is incredibly exciting when it came out. But then Revenge of the Sith getting all the little bit more individualized, and again, it felt more wartime. So I'm more Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, I was more Revenge of the Sith as well. I just wanted to see if you were like leaning towards Attack of the Clones because you seem to like Attack of the Clones a lot, so.
We're literally in that era of the TV show.
Yeah, well, again, people like Attack the Clones, and I am not in favor of that. Anyways, I do have a question for you also, just like a real thing, because we get a lot of this episode of, oh, we want to be Arc Troopers. Oh, we want to do that. We want to be these Arc Troopers because they're so great. Do they actually explain what Arc Troopers are? Do they actually explain the ranks? Do they explain, like, what they do, or are they just a glorified commander? Or what's your infinite knowledge of Arc Troopers, Colin? Because I bet you have a bunch.
No, I got none.
What?
And my biggest complaint here is that this episode ends with it being like, yeah, we're going to be Arc Troopers. And then when you get to rookies, it's like they're not. And then you come back. This is one of the ones that I think gets more confusing when you watch it chronologically. But even when you not that everything gets more confusing, but there's definitely gaps between these stories where you're like, did something happen here that I'm missing?
And that's what I'm feeling with Arc Trooper. Honestly, I thought there was more to it, but like, I'm actually sad now because I actually like the Arc Trooper designs, and I actually like the idea of ranks of clones because we get a bunch of other ranks. So I was honestly excited to see this introduction to these this kind of ranks clones here.
And I did find it, by the way. I actually was right. It is Bloodlines, but it's Legacy of the Force was the book series.
Okay.
It was a 9-book series where they basically had 3 authors that each would alternate. So, you know, one author would write books 1, 4, and then the next one would do books 2 and 5 and everything. So book 2, Legacy of the Force Bloodlines, was the one that included Boba Fett, you know, dying and needing to go back to Kamino.
Okay. Well, everybody, there's your suggestion. There's your readings of the week if you want to go and check out like those that 9 book series. But yeah, if there's no other comments, let's go on to episode 2 of this 3 story arc with rookies, as we're going back to season 1, episode 5, I'm guessing. Okay, perfect. I got it right on the money. Look at me, I'm actually smart. Woohoo! I'm smarter than a clone. Anyways, opening line of wisdom: the best confidence builder is experience. And that is true because we got a lot of these clones being unexperienced and making some dumb decisions in this episode. But it makes an entertaining story. So we open with the Jedi, with the monologue about the Jedi being stretched thin because the droid army is trying to stretch them out. And we get more of the information about the clones being rushed out because they are not, because they think they're ready, but they're actually not. And they're manning these base stations that are around the galaxy. And this one's on what was the space on this?
Rishi.
Rishi. Okay, right.
Yeah.
The Rishi moon.
Which, well, I'll just interject for a second. Again, connecting to Attack of the Clones because of the whole Kamino thing. When Obi-Wan is looking for, I can't find this planet Kamino, he keeps being told it's outside of the Rishi maze, which is something. So seeing this planet, this is obviously something that would make sense as an outpost because it is the closest thing to Kamino.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you a question about what the Rishi moon is connected to Kamino, because they make a big deal about, we need to keep these base operational because Kamino. And so, yeah, thank you for that. Excuse me, swallowed popcorn in the wrong chew here.
Is that your dinner? Popcorn for dinner?
No, it's not dinner. It's me just snacking on it because I got
Okay.
this. Folks, just FYI, me and Colin, separate seats. We went to the Collective Soul and Our Lady Peace concert, and I got this popcorn with a friend of mine. And honestly, the show was pretty good. It's my third ever concert, and I was actually pretty happy. I was more there for Collective Soul, but I mean, Our Lady Peace also did it pretty good.
I was a huge fan of both of them growing up. I mean, it's my 5th time seeing both of the bands. But were you on the right side when Rain Maida went into the crowd?
Apparently he was. I actually left before then, so I got to miss it. I got to miss it. Again, I was there for Collective Soul. I didn't give a crap about Our Lady Peace. They did do a kind of a good show when I was there. I was only here for like an hour, so I didn't like leave when they started. So, but yeah, I did. I really do want to go back in time and have that happen because apparently he was like really, really close to our section.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, but yeah. Good. Thank you, Collective Soul and Our Lady Peace for making a good tour. Although you should have given Collective Soul more time than what they should have. Anyways, back to Clone Wars. We're on the moon where these rookies are manning the base, and I have a question. Why is it rookies? Why is it all rookies? You just like I understand you're being stretched in, but like can't you stretch in your commanders? Like. No,
this is what makes the most sense to me in the episode because, I mean, again, if this is the war, this is just an outpost. This is like, this is where somebody might go if they need to relay a message, or it's not even a supply post. It's literally just an outpost. So it is the most mundane and uninteresting thing. And this is why I love this episode the second that it started, because I'm like, you are telling us this is the single most boring thing that you could ever show us in the Star Wars universe, but just wait for it, because we're going to show you why that is so incredible.
But yet, it actually is important because it's connected to Kameo, and if the man station goes down, then Kameo's in danger. So, I get your point, but my point is that you should have had at least a couple people that are actually experienced that actually can help guard the outposts, because Kameo. Anyways, we open with the base, and where these clones are chilling out, and until the sergeant comes in and tells them that the officers, the officers, as we'll learn later on, are Rex and Cody. They're coming in to inspect the base to just make sure everything's okay, because you can't leave rookies on their own. You know what happens when you leave 21-year-old adults in a room. They go screw around. They do a bunch of dumb stuff. They probably lay down on pool tables. They get hits in the head by the pool balls. Like, you can't just leave
from
these
experience
guys.
here or something.
No, but I'm just taking a wild guess in the dark end because I'm 21 years old, so I feel like I have the experience to try and word it into this.
You have them help you move, and they just bicker like married people.
Exactly. So, yeah. Anyways, now we got Kenobi and Anakin on their starship, and they're looking for Grievous because Grievous, I almost called him Grievous. There's number 6, Grievous. We got Shotty today, and we got Grievous. So congratulations, guys. You have names. But yeah, they tell Cody and Rex to go to get expecting the base just to make sure everything's okay. The base gets notified about the meteor shower, which turns out that it's actually the droid army attacking, but they don't know that yet. And we get turns out that it was, again, a distraction for these new droids that we get introduced to called Commando droids. And I'll be honest, these are probably my favorite droids, except for Droidicas. These are probably going to be my second favorite droids that they have ever done, because they're just like ninjas, and I don't know, I like ninjas as a kid. Don't judge me too harshly. So now these Commando droids are breaking in, and they are taking over the base. Sergeant gets shot in the head, so R.I.P. Sergeant. Anyways, I sound like Blue and nuts. Yeah. Anyways, they hide in the main room then they go to escape, and now Grievous contacts Ventress, who is we don't know where she is at the time, but we definitely know later on where she is. Turns out she's in Kameo in these what are they called, squid ships, or what are they called?
Squid ships.
That's
Aqua.
aqua.
Yeah.
Aqua,
The
I
aqua
think.
droid ships. Well, they call them aqua droids. I don't even know what you would call them. You're talking about from Arc Troopers, right?
I'm talking about Arc Troopers where they
Yeah.
with the octopus squid cut
Let's
ship thing.
call it a squid ship.
Okay. Number 7, squid ship. So, congratulations again. Anyways, they yeah, we get that confirmation. We'll get more of that in the next episode when we get there. Clones get greeted by giant eels and RIP cut up again. Anyways, yeah, oh, yeah, it is cut up. Okay, so I thought it was Droid Bait that actually died. So cut up actually does die here. So again, RIP cut up. Cody and Rex arrive and they come to the post where they are attacked by the droids. They don't know that until they get in. They meet up with the clones and they try to, and then they all shoot at the eel. They talk. Rex actually does something pretty cool. He puts his handprint on Fives' armor, which is a sentiment to his armor later on, which I really love. We get back right to Anakin and Kenobi for about 5 seconds, and they talk with the troops. Rex has not to the troops, so they're trying to get to the troops. Rex has a bright idea for getting inside and trying to use a droid head and try to talk like a droid. Again, these clones are just becoming stupider and stupider as the days count down to Revenge of the Sith and for Order 66. So, yeah, you're no. Anyways, they get this idea to retake the base. I wrote down that the music piece is actually pretty good. So, good job, music piece you performed. I can't remember what it was because I watched this episode like last week. So, anyways, they retake the command deck, and they're greeted by General Grievous's fleet, and they're sorry, I just can't help myself. Anyways, they get greeted by that, and then they are being attacked again, and they have the bright idea to using some explosives and a remote activator
Detonator.
to activate air
Detonator.
Okay, there we go. I'm struggling with my words today. I am sorry, folks. You're gonna get called next week for Malevolence. You look forward to that. Anyways, we get that, and it's not working. So Heavy decides to volunteers himself to try and make sure that it works. Battle begins, and they can't hold him for long. So all the clones fall back. The device is still not working. So Heavy tells him to leave, and he'll try and make sure that it works. It doesn't, and then Heavy sacrifices himself while learning nothing throughout this entire experience, which I feel like is kind of useless. I'll get more to that later. So yeah, he sacrifices himself. The droids are being. Before that, we get a nice line from the droids where we're like, "Do we take prisoners?" And then he's like, "I do not." So that was a cool line from Heavy. So yeah, the base blows up. General Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker get notified about it, and they send reinforcements. Grievous fleet leaves, and they are probably on their way to Kamino. I almost called it a Kenoshi. Kenoshi. So
Kenosha, Wisconsin. They're on their way to the invasion of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Anybody is listening from Kenosha, Wisconsin, please drop us a line.
I don't think I have anybody listening from there. I have a couple of listeners actually from Africa. So
oh, nice.
Yeah. So thank you, African listeners. I forget where the cities are, but I'll look at them later. I'll actually look at them during my break with Colin. We'll get a little bit of a look at that, and I'll shout out you guys. Anyways, they make it work, and Heavy dies and sacrifices himself, and the Republic fleet comes in to get to the base to get Rex, Cody, Fives, and Echo. All the while, Rex and Cody are congratulating Fives and Echo on their brave and their royalty, and not royalty, they're not kings, on their loyalty to how they were performed in the mission. And obviously, this is going to bleed a lot more into episode 2 of season 3, Arc Troppers, where we get a little bit of introduction to the most useless clone rank in the entire galaxy. But yeah, no, like, I don't know. There's not a lot to recap with rookies because it's just a simple story. I do want to mention the Commando droids again because I do love them very much. Mm-hmm. I am very sad that they weren't a thing. And wait, were they a thing in the Revenge of the Sith? I don't even remember anymore. Yeah, so I'm kind of a little bit sad because I actually did like them a lot. So I'm very sad that they weren't in the live action ones. But I I think they made an appearance in the Rise of Skywalker, but who cares about Rise of Skywalker? No one does. Anyways, but yeah, no, this is a nice episode. We get a lot of Rex and Cody in it, and I like Rex and Cody, so you do that, you're doing good. There's not much else. It's not that. It's funny at times, but it's not a humorous episode. So it's a very serious one, and like you said, it feels really militaristic.
Yeah.
Again, I'm making up. What is this? Word number 8 now? Good grief! Over 50% of my words have just come up from my mouth just because I can't come up with things from my head. So.
That's why you don't have more listeners in English-speaking countries. You haven't mastered that language yet.
I mean, I'm living in an English country, so I don't know, like these.
Well, half English, I guess.
Yeah, half English. I guess we have Quebec, but who cares about Quebec? Anyways, you can go ahead, take it away, talk about rookies, and maybe mention about droid bait being droid bait. I don't know.
First of all, so Arc Troopers there basically is nothing to them. They are just an elite group. The actual acronym is Advanced Recon Commando. I mean, recon are essentially the ones who are sent in to do reconnaissance, right? More or less, it says they're specially trained and they're elite. That's all there is to it. Which is why these guys want to be Arc Troopers or whatever. It's just the confusion is we ended the last episode with them saying, hey, we're Arc Troopers. And then we start this episode, which again, they were written and planned completely out of sequence, where it's like, wait, but you guys aren't Arc Troopers, you know? And then even at the end of the next episode, it's like, you are finally Arc Troopers. Like, wow, big full circle that you have there. I mean, I already said at the beginning of this, like this was the episode that sort of changed what I thought the show was going to be. Because, you know, what we had prior to this, we had the Clone Wars movie, which was, you know, its own thing. And it was fun. It showed you that like, we're going to be doing lots of different types of storytelling. We had Ambush. If we're looking at this, the original air date order, we're like, oh, you got a Yoda episode. That's fun. And then we had the Malevolence trilogy where you're like, oh, so you might be doing some big long form storytelling. And then you just had another standalone episode with this. But like, again, when we get to it next time with the Malevolence trilogy, like I absolutely love that. But this was it showed me you're going to do something different with this show. And I would use this episode anytime people who weren't either, maybe they'd seen the first episode, they're like, oh yeah, you know, the show seems interesting. I'm like, keep watching it. I'm like, and I would always go back and say, there's an episode that is focused entirely on clones. Granted, you see Obi-Wan and Anakin for about 30 seconds in this episode, but entirely on clones. Don't take off their masks, really. You know, they are just on outpost. It is a mundane, boring mission. And yet this episode is what will convince you that this show can be great. And I still stand by that. I think this is a fantastic. It's not to say that this is going to end up being my highest episode of all time. May not even be a top 10 episode for me, but I absolutely love the direction they took this in. The opening montage we have, first of all, the Jedi word of wisdom here, the best confidence builders experience, it works perfectly for this episode. You know, it is about the rookies and all that. When they have like Tom Kane's opening narration, his newsreel footage, I like that they actually duplicated several shots, particularly from Attack of the Clones. There's that the end montage of Attack of the Clones when you get the first like big powerful version of the Imperial March as Palpatine and his senators are watching all the ships take off and the clones lined up. They duplicate that exact same shot in animation, which is really cool. And the other cool thing is going along with how mundane it is. These are just guys on an outpost, and this is the way it is. Like there's people who their entire job is, well, we just need you to guard this shack. That's all you got to do. If somebody comes to the shack, shoot them. If nobody comes to the shack, sit around and listen to Republic Radio. And here's the latest hits. This one goes out to all you boys in the 902nd. It's so cool. We have Republic Radio playing here, which even the song, my generation would get this one, even though it's earlier than that. But the song from being canceled, Puff Daddy at the time. So I guess Puff Daddy's still okay to talk about because he's not P. Diddy yet. He had a song, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, which sampled a song from Grandmaster Flash called The Message, which was like one of the first big rap hits ever. And I'm telling you, they are basically taking the exact same music from both Grandmaster Flash, The Message, and Puff Daddy's Can't Nobody Hold Me Down here. But I just love these guys sitting around doing nothing. And like, they're not goofing off. They're not like irresponsible. They're just like, this is our job. Hey, it's boring, but whatever. The commando droids, which I really look them as spy droids in this episode, because they come equipped with this thing to change their voice. That's such a cool touch. Like, we haven't seen something like that before. They play them the same as all droids, though. I mean, they become comic relief in this. But I love just the fun of the back and forth of, like, they're going to put on a clone helmet and duplicate a voice to get in. So later on, the clones are going to be like, we're going to take that helmet and then do this off-camera reveal where we hold up a droid head. They even say there's no way this is going to work, and then it ends up working. I love that. We do get the I think this is as far as the television show goes, not the movie, the first use of I have a bad feeling about this in this episode.
Really?
Yeah, that was cool. They had that one. And then also the other fun thing when they had the droid trying to bluff its way through it, where he was like, thank you for listening and have a safe trip back. Like, it's just like the stalling where Han Solo is pretending to be the stormtrooper or the Imperial officer on the Death Star.
Yeah.
He's like, we had a weapons malfunction here. There's a lot of those little call forwards, I guess you could call it. And then even when they have the droid, when they're impersonating the droid, impersonating a clone trooper, like, you sound strange. There's something wrong with your vocabulator, I absolutely love this moment, as you said, with Heavy, where he sacrifices himself here, because again, this is like going back to, the tough guy trash talking commandos you'd get like these old war movies. That whole, so we take prisoners, you go, I don't. It says then he blows everybody up. What an epic ending. I just absolutely love that. Like, again, there's not much to this episode. It's just the setting's great. I mean, getting the traditional Star Wars monster too, that giant eel that comes out of the rocks, that's so much fun. And at this point, we know Captain Rex, we know Commander Cody. We don't know these other characters, but we got just enough out of them as a group. The one way where I'll say this works perfectly with the Clone Cadets episode is the Clone Cadets episode is about you guys need to function as a unit and not as individuals. And I don't feel like any of these characters fully stand out on their own. I feel like they stand out as a group. And that's what's so cool about this episode. It's like, it's a rookie group and you want to see a little bit more of them.
Yeah. And I agree with you 100%. Although I do think that Heavy's big sacrifice was pulled out of nowhere. Like, it's if you look back to the first episode, like where we talked about, like, maybe, but like I feel like that they're trying to just pull it out of their excuse my language, their butts.
As you burp up your popcorn kernels.
hey, I drank water that time. So, anyways, I don't know. I do think it's an epic moment, but I think it just pulled out of their butts, and just like really out of nowhere. And that's just what I think about that. Again, I do think it's an epic moment, and I do like it a lot. But like, again, like it's just out of nowhere.
Can we also just comment on how great the look of this episode is? Like,
oh yes, absolutely.
It's dark, it's gritty. You got like this weird lighting where it's like, it kind of looks like moonlight, but not quite really. You're in the middle of a desert. You don't really get to see much. You see this tiny base on one rock cliff. And like, that's what I'm saying. There's something in regular TV shows. It's called a bottle show. And what a bottle show is when you're doing a TV show, you're going to have some episodes where the budget's huge. We need a lot of effects for this. We need to go on location. We need to build a new set. So you build episodes into the series, which are called bottle shows, which is we're going to take all the existing elements we have where we don't have to spend a lot of money. An example would be, I don't know, you think of a live action show like Arrow, right? The TV show Arrow. We're going to do an entire episode that's just all inside the Oliver Queen mansion because we don't have to worry about a new set for that, right? We're going to only involve our core cast members, so we don't have to hire a lot of outside extras. That's what's called a bottle show. Animation doesn't necessarily really have a bottle show, but to me, this is like when you're watching a TV show and this is budget conscious Clone Wars, and somehow it just it excels. It goes way beyond what it should, considering this is like Clone Wars on a budget. Having said that, this is not Clone Wars on a budget. It's creating that appearance of we're going to be a very simple, contained episode.
Yeah. I just looked up my statistics, and shout out to the listener in Zambia, shout out to the listener in Sri Lanka, shout out to the 2 people in Tanzania, and then shout out to the 2 people in the Philippines. So, and then also shout out to the 3 people in the U.S. who are trying to take us over. And breaking news, the tariffs are actually happening, and Donald Trump went back on his word. So, thank you, Donald Trump, for being a coward.
First of all, nobody is going to listen to you in Sri Lanka anymore, as you called it, Sri Lanka. You've lost your listeners.
It was just one. So, by the way, almost 90% of people are actually in Canada, and how many of them are in Manitoba? I'm actually very curious.
How many of them are living under your roof?
Actually, not that much. Actually, pretty good. 31% of my listeners from that are actually from Manitoba. So, congratulations, Manitoba. And we have one listener from New Brunswick. So,
all right.
Never went to New Brunswick. Don't really care. So,
and you know what? If you are listening to us right now from New Brunswick and you want to drop us a line, you will get a free autographed picture of Patric Clausen.
Shipping costs not included.
if that person from New Brunswick's listening, I will print out the picture of Patric Clausen and I will mail it to you on my own dime. Just let us know.
Well, then I will sue you for trying to expose me. Anyways.
What pictures are there of you that is going to be exposing yourself?
I don't know.
A pornographer's here.
You might
have like a headshot. Like
you might have a baby picture. You might have a baby picture of me. And
I probably do have some baby pictures of you around here that your mom gave to me.
I'm looking forward to seeing those at my wedding, if I ever get married. Anyways, we got one more episode. This is the one I've been talking about. This is the one I probably watched the most. This is the one I probably liked the most out of this group of episodes, even though Rookies was still a good episode. I love Arc Trooper, even though the rank is now kind of useless, and I just figured that out now, so it's kind of prohibiting my rankings, but whatever. I don't care. We're about to have a battle with Kameo. Gosh darn it! What is this, like 10 now? Like, ugh. I'm gonna lose track of these words up to this point. Anyways, but yeah, Kameo, let's go. Battle with Kameo. That's gonna be awesome. We get this opening line. What's the opening line? I forgot. It's fighting a war tests a soldier's skills, defending his home tests a soldier's heart. Which, by the way, I think this is probably the first time in the series, and maybe the only time where the Republic is actually defending. We see most of the time where they're trying to get into these planets to try and attack, and I think this is the first time we've ever actually had to see them be in a defensive kind of a defensive group.
Wow, Ryloth.
No,
but like Ryloth is going to become bigger later as the series goes. But
yeah,
I did have I already forgot the one bad episode we covered. We got them the defensive Ryloth in that.
Oh yeah, which did not go well. So
yeah,
but yeah, no, this is the one of the only times that we get this, and I'm honestly pretty happy about that. Like this is like we don't really see the Republic usually as a defensive army. So this is actually pretty cool that we get this. We get more again of the same introduction, like, oh, the clones are actually being stretched in, the Jedi are being stretched in, the Separatists are attacking Kameo, and all that mumbo jumbo. We get a decrypted message from with Master Anakin and Master Obi, and we get the Master Obi. Anyways, we get this decrypted message about Grievous talking to Asajj Ventress about the attack of Kameo. They get the message. They tell Rexa and Cody to alert the boys that they're going home. They get this cool shot of the clone room where Fives and Echo with their new painted armor. As I guess they had time to paint this armor blue and whatnot. So I kind of like the design. They get to counter 99 again. So hey 99, well, what's up? You're gonna die later. So whoopee. Not Whoopi, but we get a awesome encounter with him. Although we get a little bit of a sad reality because Fives and Echo didn't know that he gave him his medal, which I forgot to mention, and I hate myself for that. Anyways, but yeah, we get this little message. We get this little mention of 99 being the clone trooper that he is with the blood inside him. He's still, even though he's affected, he's trying to help out the best he can. And I guess Echo and him give him a bright idea. But yeah. Shaw T is now approaching Master Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin as they're alerting her that everything is happening and that Grievous is coming. Grievous and Asajj Ventress are on their way. They communicate, and we learn officially that Asajj Ventress is in these squid droids underneath the water, underneath the base. Now we get everybody in formation, and the blockade of the Republic is trying to defend Kameo. Grievous comes in with a much smaller fleet than the Republic has thought of. and they start beginning the attack. And this is actually a clever plan for Grievous to use the scrap of his support ships to actually help out Asajj Ventress with the building of these soul crafts underneath the water, which I found. I'm not applauding the enemy, but smart tactic, smart tactic. Yeah, good job. Anyways,
but when you consider that the Republic is about to become the Empire, are they the enemy or are they the good guys? This is the question that always, gets raised for Star Wars fans.
I guess we could discuss that at our final episode. I guess
that's something we're going to discuss over the next, I don't know,
well, I mean, we could make
40 episodes.
We could end it. We could maybe make the next discussion, this big discussion, as our final episode, discussion. Like that would be pretty cool if we actually did that. Like, well, after we're done the episode rankings and all that, we can just talk about if stuff is actually evil or who is evil. I do actually think, like, for the back of my mind, I think the Jedi are actually like kind of evil. So. Anyways, I'll get into that when we get to the final episode. So stay tuned, everybody. We're gonna have a little bit of a debate at the end, and I'm gonna suck at it because I hate debates. Anyways, but yeah,
I love them.
Yeah, I know.
Because I win.
Yeah, because you yell, and that's how you win.
No, I say smart things that people can't rebut.
And I say dumb things that people can rebut. But
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Here's the difference. I win because I'm loud. You win because you're loud and you make good points. So
there you go.
That's how it is for debate. So we'll see what happens at our final episode, which is going to come out in about let's just say 10 years from now. So but yeah, we get this attack and we Anakin's actually flying to the sky. I like the comment that the clone trooper is having fun with Anakin, ready to have some fun, which I loved. I loved the clones' kind of wittiness into that situation. Obi-Wan decides to go for a swim because he feels like that because again, he's fought Grievous for a while, which is showing, and I actually like the fact that he's actually being a little bit smart about it and how he's actually learning his opponents. So good job, Clone Wars episodes. Your writing is good. It's for the most part. The Jar Jar episodes and the second episode of the second arc of season the second arc of season 7 sucks. So anyway, you guys suck some parts. But yeah, we get Obi-Wan going for a swim, and they find out that the Aqua Droids, which again don't appear in episode 3, but we get them in the Clone Wars, which is again pretty cool and again they don't need to do any continuity with that. Although I would appreciate if they did actually make an appearance in Kashyyyk, because they did attack from the ocean. So, anyways, enough with that later.
Popcorn's really brittle today.
This is like 3-day old. This is like 3-day old popcorn. So, anyways, where was I? Right, droids and squid. So the Aqua Droids actually notice Obi and they try to attack him. Obi escapes because of this creature. I do not know what it's called for the life of me, but I think he made an appearance in Attack of the Clones, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you saw Kameoans riding these things.
Oh, didn't Obi-Wan also like fall in the ocean and the other one caught him again?
No, although I know that there's George Lucas always wanted to see Obi-Wan riding beasts, which is why you eventually see him in Revenge of the Sith riding that creature when they're on Utapau. But I could be wrong, but I believe that it might have been one of those things they designed for Attack of the Clones where you would see Obi-Wan riding one of these things. Because that was a weird George Lucas obsession. He always I want to see Obi-Wan riding a giant monster.
His also weirdest thing is that I like the droid arc.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. I actually I'm not a big fan of it, but anyways, it's the future me is gonna not like it. But yeah, we got Obi-Wan riding this creature. The squid droids are attacking, and Obi-Wan asks for Anakin to come down. The droids are now attacking, and they're overwhelming the clones right away. 99 tries to help, and he gets the Arc Trooper killed. So 99, why did you get one of the most useless ranks of clones killed? Like, this is so stupid. Screw you, 99. You're on low ground here, boy. Low ground here.
You can't say that. He's disabled, okay?
Hey, well, I'm also disabled technically, so there you go. I'm disabled to a point, Colin. I'm disabled because of my ADHD, so I get to put that on people. So,
I literally have 3 children who are on the spectrum or considered disabled. So I'm taking offense, Ethan. This guy is like my kid. It's like attacking my children. Would you do that to your cousins? Is that type of person you are?
No.
Stand up for those who are disabled.
Yeah, rise up, take over.
I mean, technically, he's not disabled. He's genetically inferior. He's mutated. I don't know what you want to call him.
Yeah,
it's a defect.
Defect. Hey, that's clonus, Colin. That's clonus. Anyway,
I mean, clones aren't people. Clones are they are literally on a production line. You know, this is like saying I don't know. I got a bad computer. You know, there's a faulty CPU with this computer.
So are you undermining a clone's life then, Colin? You're seriously undermining a life?
Well, considering clones don't exist in this real world, yes, I am. But so they're not disabled.
So when the clones come out in about 5 years, because I think that's what Elon Musk is working at, Colin is going to be known as a clonist, and he's probably going to get canceled. So
yeah, this will be canceled years from now. We'll be done by then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, who knows? We might.
But I'm standing up for disabled rights.
And I agree. I agree with you. I was just making fun of about him about killing a useless rank. So, good job, 99. You. Yeah. Anyways, we get the Obi-Wan and Anakin trying to defend the base. He tells Anakin, because again he knows Grievous. He's being like, oh, this is actually trying to distract us. So you gotta go protect the DNA room. We find Fives and Echo trying to defend the sniper positions because they got assigned there by the most useless clone ranking in the entire planet. And they also find 99, who's trying to help him again. And so he gives them grenades, and they also meet up with some clone cadets, which are lost. And so they go to the barracks. Well, they're on their way to the barracks because 99 knows the way. And so you see, Colin, disabled people can't actually do stuff. So defend the rights.
I'm not the one who said they couldn't.
I didn't say anything. I was just making a joke about him killing off a useless rank. That's all I said. Okay. I'm not racist. I'm ADHDist. Anyways, we're almost there. We got we're almost there for deception. So yeah, we got Obi-Wan countering Grievous. Again with the line of Grievous being like, "Oh, this is too easy," and he's like, "Divine, easy, General." And so yeah, we get that fun little thing shtick there. And Obi-Wan and Anakin, not Obi-Wan and Anakin, Anakin and Ventress actually meet up in the DNA room. They also have a fight, so we have 2 lightsaber fights going on at the same time. And now we have Grievous actually using his legs, and I think this is even the first time I think he's using his extra arms, except for when he's not using a lightsaber. So I don't know. You could correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think this is the first time he's actually using it without the lightsaber. So, yeah, he uses it for its advantage to get to Kenobi. Kenobi again defeats him because he's predictable, and he goes chasing after him. Now Fives and the clones are hiding in the barracks, and they're just trying to. I think I'm jumbled all over the place. I didn't actually write these notes down. I'm just going off based on memory. So if I'm missing something, you can go. You can correct me on that when we get to the later part of it. But yeah, we get they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do, and then Rex and Cody give the motivational speech. Except it's actually Fives, because Fives and Echo are smart, and they're supposed to be built up to being part of this useless rank. They get to the barracks to get the weapons. They start fighting off the droids, and 99 ends up being killed because he's trying to get them more loot. And so RIP 99. For future listeners, this is going to be a little bit of a jumbled mess because my Wi-Fi just cut off. So we're going to try and do our best.
Do better!
Hey, exactly! Right there! All right, so we're going to go until the barracks. So 99 gets killed. RIP. Anyways, I think that's where I left off. Okay, so we're back on track. Anyways, Asajj Ventress and Anakin are fighting. They get lost, loser Ventress. So Anakin has her fleeing. And then 99 and the others mourn the death of 99. And now Ventress is on the no, not Ventress. We're actually on Kenobi and Anakin. Not Kenobi and Anakin. They never meet in the Clone Wars. Stupid.
Grievous.
Yeah, Grievous and Obi-Wan. Good grief. Anyways, Grievous and Obi-Wan get to meet up on the platform. The Squid Droid ends the fight dramatically, and Obi-Wan is not dead. He gets saved by the creature again. And we had another nice line from there, being like, "Thank you for the rescue again, my old friend. We gotta stop meeting like this." So again, pretty funny. Shaw T reports that the droid army has been pushed back to the squid invading droids. And they blow up these squid droids with rocket launchers, and I think my brother Seth would love it very much because he loves rocket launchers. So, whoopee. Anyways, um, now as they are getting exploded, Mistress Ventress, the assassin, and Anakin are on the platform fighting for the clone DNA because Ventress decided to be a little sneaky little snake and steal the DNA. And now Anakin and her are fighting. Anakin gets the DNA back. Ventress decides to go all Sith mode and tries to overwhelm him, and she does. But then the clone takes the DNA out of thin air. And I have a question: why doesn't she just continue to force pull it? Like, is she stupid or?
She's not as powerful. I mean, she's
as the clones. Like the clones were, he's literally holding it with one hand. Like, why can't she just use the force still? Like,
I mean, this again opens the question. It's like, is she really trying to win, or is she just trying to disrupt the Republic? Because she's on the side of, Dooku, who's on the side of Sidious, who's pulling the strings on both sides. So who knows?
Fair enough. But I still have to ask the question. So, Ventress, you suck. Anyways, she now flees, and now the Republic is saved. And because of the bravery of Fives and Echo, they are now being nominated to probably the worst and most useless rank of clones that there's ever been. And I will be arguing to my death about it. So, screw you, Arc Troopers. You guys are useless. Anyways, that's the end. I feel a little bit underwhelmed because of the Battle of I almost called it the Battle of Kenobi. The Battle of Kameo. It's a short battle. Like, it's pretty cool, but I wish there was more to it. Like, I wish they had more stakes. I wish there was more build up instead of these jumbled episodes that are around everywhere. But yeah, it's a pretty good episode, and I thought it was pretty cool. Do you have any comments on the Arc Troopers?
Yeah. Surprisingly, I mean, as much as I brag on rookies, I actually do think this is a slightly better episode. Because the action is just extraordinary in this episode. Like, it is top-notch action. And I'm not as bothered by us not getting Kameo. I do agree that, like, I would have loved to have seen a long drawn-out battle, because the way that wars are is you have these long drawn-out battles. But I don't even remember if I mentioned it when we were talking about the last one with Ryloth, that one of the things that I always loved about Ryloth, especially in this first season, is that they kept checking in on it throughout the season. This was a season-long thing that they just gave you bits and pieces until you got the main Ryloth trilogy later on.
Right.
So that's something that in real war, you'd have those front lines where they'd be battling for, one city or one country for weeks or months at a time. Yeah. This would have been perfect to give us more Kameo, or just say it's not over. But at the same time, like, realistically, I think if the Separatists even had a partially successful invasion of Kameo, or even if they would just, had continued this assault and it lasted any longer, it wouldn't really make sense for the Republic to be in the position they're in. The reason it actually doesn't bother me as much, though, is because do you ever play the old Star Wars Battlefront games from like 2004?
No, the oldest one I ever played was the one from 2015.
Yeah, too young. What am I saying?
I'm 21 years old. I am not that young, okay?
I mean, the original Battlefront video game from 2004. That was like the great Star Wars game of that era, because it puts you into these battles from the original trilogy, but they gave the exceptions. Like, we're going to give you a bonus level where there is a Battle of Kameo, an environment that didn't exist in the movie. So most of the levels were things like, here's the Battle of Hoth, here's the Battle of Geonosis, here's the Battle of the Yavin 4 or anything, or Naboo. But they gave us Kameo level, and I'm telling you, the Kameo level was the best one in that game. Like, I would spend hours just playing the Kameo level because it was so cool to be able to taking your jetpacks and flying through the air with all the rain around you and just the entire environment of Kamino is great. So I do get it would be great to have more than that, but I mean, play the Battlefront game, you definitely get a lot more. The thing that I actually really like in this episode is the way they take what I think in the opening, word of wisdom is kind of corny, where you're talking about fighting to defend your home. And I'm like, these are clones. They don't care if this is their home. And by the end of the episode, they actually have you with their rallying. It's like, this is our home, guys. We got to defend it. And you're like, whoa, like that's quite effective. You did a good job with that. You shouldn't actually care enough, but it's because these characters have actually slowly developed enough that you care about the fact that they care about their home too. It's also really cool to see Kamino because it is one of the more unique environments they had in Star Wars. I think I was talking about what George Lucas's advice to Dave Filoni when he came to creating new planets. He said, ultimately George Lucas said, just come up with what that planet is, like he's like, sadly, I think I've done all the interesting ones. I've done a forest planet. I've done a snow planet. I've done a rain planet. What are you left with? Which is how they came up with, that was when we were talking about Tordaria last time. But I mean, Kamino it's such a cool environment, a never ending storm and stuff like that. And these little sea creatures we got. But the coolest stuff in this episode is the underwater battle. And this is an idea that George Lucas wanted to use when he was still developing episode 7 before J.J. Abrams came on and ruined everything. In fact, there was a book that came out. I wish I could remember the name of the book. It was basically going through a lot of the stuff that was developed about Star Wars over the years. Some of it that didn't actually come to be. And they had sections on there on the original episode 7, 8, 9 treatments that George Lucas had, very specifically the stuff that he was working on with Michael Arndt, the original screenwriter that was developing it before the Disney sale. And the original episode 7 was going to end with this massive underwater battle where it would have been about like a downed Star Destroyer. So you would have seen these little bubble ships and stuff like that, like Obi-Wan's in this, that are swimming or diving into the ruins of a Star Destroyer that's sunk underwater, which would look fantastic. But having like General Grievous blow up one of his own, or allow one of his own ships to get blown up, and even Obi-Wan saying something's not right here, I think I want to go for a swim, and then finding it, it's just so cool, and the idea that they're going to take the wreckage, just the visual of this wreckage following from the sky, because we never really see in Star Wars people entering atmospheres. Revenge of the Sith is the one time where you see the full, we're in space all the way until we land, but stuff that's actually dropping, like that, you don't see that in Star Wars before. When the Death Star blows up, Yavin is got forest fires all over the place because the Death Star parts are falling everywhere, right? But the one thing that I'm going to nitpick in this episode is the Aqua Droids, not the Aqua Droids themselves. That's a very cool idea. But the fact that Obi-Wan's spying on them, and then an Aqua Droid in the water turns around and says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Like, you can't hear it underwater. It would actually sound like Obi-Wan would not be able to hear it at all. I don't understand why it's talking. But still, it's such a cool idea to have like an underwater battle and everything like that. The one thing in this episode, I don't know if you got it, because apparently it was cut, was the Ventress kiss. Right before she kills the guy. Oh,
I missed that. Okay. Yeah.
So this was apparently cut when it aired on the Cartoon Network in the States. And as you'll often find with this trivia, when it aired in Canada, like, we don't care. We'll show anything, right? But I guess a lot of people never saw this until it was released on Blu-ray. And it's good to see that Disney, who you think would be a little bit more restrictive than the Cartoon Network, actually include this in here, because it is cold and it is like sadistic. And it's not like a romantic thing in any way. It is like she gives this very seductive kiss to this guy right before she kills him, and it's so, sinister. And I think that's the best thing about Ventress, is that she's a scary villain when she wants to be, but they play this seductive side with Ventress where she's almost like enjoys, being this terrible murderous villain. It's just one of my favorite moments they had. And also the escape that she has, which we talked about the Clone Wars movie, that incredible escape she has on Teth, where she drops onto a moving droid starfighter. This one's even better because you have the escape pod that's, basically shooting out, and she jumps up and somehow jumps directly into this moving escape pod that's going at like rocket speed. I don't know how many of these I'll be able to remember by the end of this, but like, I've got to rank the Ventress escapes, because I feel like they're trying to one up themselves each time. With anytime Ventress escapes, it's got to be the coolest thing you've ever seen. The one line you mentioned about the all too easy, I mean, that's a throwback to Darth Vader's line when he's got Luke the carbonite facility.
Mm-hmm.
Luke basically falls in, and Darth Vader goes to use the Force to pull the lever, and he just all too easy, and then Luke escapes, right? So they actually, I feel like they're using that line "all too easy" from General Grievous as a way to kind of like, pay homage to that. And then Obi-Wan, replying with it, define easy, General, or Ventress or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, there's so much fun dialogue in this episode. I feel like, I think this is a slightly better episode than Rookies, but that ultimately comes down more to the action than anything else. I feel like Rookies is a more interesting idea. This is traditional Star Wars action, It's cool to have 99 back and all that, but you're not getting as much depth in this episode as you're getting in Rookies. These two combined, fantastic. Other than the fact that when it starts, the most awkward thing you get in this episode is I don't know if it's Fives or Echo when they're saying it's it was like we were just here yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which, when you're watching it the way we're watching it like this, and you've got Rookies in the middle, fine. But when this originally aired in 2009, 2010, whenever this episode came out, it was the previous week when they were here. And I don't feel like the characters in Rookies were memorable enough 2 years later. I certainly wasn't thinking when I watched the first one, Clone Cadets, I wasn't thinking those are the guys from Rookies. When I watched this episode, I got it because they actually reference Rookies, right? They show like the battle on Rishi and everything. So it's something you can later on be like, oh, they weren't just here. But when you're watching this in 2010 or whatever, and you finish the episode where they're Clone Cadets, and then you start thinking, boy, it wasn't like we were just here yesterday. We literally ended the last episode and you were standing in that very spot. It shouldn't be that much of a surprise to you. A little bit silly, but still, I mean, all around really solid episode, and great characters that are just going to get better the more we get into the series.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, and that's why I love Echo and Fives, because again, they get better. So I'm really excited to see where we get to them when we get to their big moments. Let's go through our IMDb stuff real quick here. We got 7.8 out of 10 for 4.5 million ratings for Clone Cadets. Not much really trivia except for the fact that it points out it's from Rookies. These 9 years of reviews are kind of pointless, or there's no point. Plot keywords, training exercise is one of the top plot keywords. Let's see what we got here.
American Gladiators.
Number 1, Age Has Fallen, so wrong. Number 2, The Living Daylights. Number 3, Bumblebee from 2018, which, by the way, you can go listen to it on the Oz Network, where we recorded that millions of years ago. So, my opinions have not changed because of that. And also, number 4, we have Gemini Man?
Gemini Man.
That's the Will Smith one, right? Yeah. And then number 6, as a Marvel mentioned, is Casino Royale. So,
2 James Bond movies in there.
Yeah. So, James Bond, perfect. Failure is another plot keyword for this episode here. Let's see what we got here. We have Gladiator as number 1. Chernobyl. Chernobyl. Okay, I can't pronounce anything. Number 2. Number 3, Avengers Endgame, and number 4, a movie called Mom, or not a movie. It's a TV show called Mom from CBS.
Yeah, Jamie, your auntie Jamie watched that show. Not my thing.
Yeah, I can tell. Anyways, helmet is apparently a plot keyword. Let's take a quick peek as to where I can add for my plot keywords for helmet. A bunch of iffy stuff off the bat. Number 1, Captain America, Brave New World. Again, you could go listen to that. We just posted that just a couple weeks ago. Venom: The Last Dance. I don't know. I haven't asked Colin how he thought about the Venom: The Last Dance, but I haven't
seen it yet. It's on my list to watch this week, though.
Okay. The Null stuff is actually pretty good, so I think you'll like that. And did you actually know that Andy Serkis voices Null?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he directed the movie too, didn't he?
No, not this time. He directed the Carnage one. He didn't direct this one. So yeah, Andy Serkis is the voice of Null. So fun fact for you. And again, I'm really hoping that they focus on the symbiote stuff for Spider-Man 4, but we'll see. Gladiator 2 is number 3, and number 4 is Interstellar. So whoopee for Interstellar, I guess. Next one, we got Rookies. It's rated 7.9. Now that's a surprise to me. I thought it would be rated higher. Not a bunch of trivia, though we have this one. CT327, that's heavy. Identifying number uses the common digits 327. Numbers that are habituously appeared throughout the Star Wars saga, among other things. 327 in the docking bay number above the Death Star in Episode 4, a landing platform in Cloud City in Episode 5, and a Naboo ship in Episode 1. Though George Lucas has remained coy on the subject of explaining the number's origins, many have noted that it is a popular car engine type and voiced by the name of in his feature America Graffiti, which is from 1973.
Great movie.
4 years before his debut with Star Wars. So that has no reference to me. Probably has reference to you. So, plot keywords. We'll go through a couple real quick. We got rookie as one of them. If this thing will ever load. I hate my iPad sometimes. Number 1, Hawaii 5-0, TV show from 2010 to 2020. I'll see if I can pronounce this right. Sicario.
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 Oh, man, one of my favorite movies. Directed by Canada's Denis Villeneuve, who does the Dune movies now. Sicario, the best movie he ever made.
Even better than Dune?
Oh, yeah. I would take Sicario over Dune any day of the week. Sicario is a weird movie in that it is not the type of movie that you should go out of your way to watch, but like it is a comfort movie for me, even though the subject matter is very disturbing in some ways.
That is really disturbing for me. Number 3 is The Dark Knight Rises. Number 4 is No Time to Die. And I do have an honorable mention of number 5. Let me see if you can actually get this one. It's a DC TV show that aired for 5 seasons, and it's not based off the iconic character, but instead of the city.
Krypton? Krypton didn't air for no. I don't even think that lasted 3 seasons. City, I have no idea. Gotham?
Yep.
There we go. Gotham, yeah.
Number 5. My brother actually watched all of Gotham, and he actually pretty liked it. He actually liked it pretty much. So
it was pretty good.
Did you like it? I've heard some opinions about the Joker. Do you have any opinions on the Joker character at all, or?
Wasn't the worst villain that they adapted on that show.
I heard the actor was at least decent, so I don't know if you're and I don't know. Inspection's another one. The Shawshank Redemption as number 1. Number 2, the 6888 movie from 2024. I don't know. You shy as in you.
Yeah, not very good.
Metal score of 51 and rating 6.7. So, yeah. Escape from Alcatraz. Number 2, number 3, and number 4, the China Syndrome. So, let's see. There's one more here that's actually pretty funny. Okay. Crawling through an air shaft. There better be The New Hope in this. Split as number 1. FYI, I do want to watch the Split movies. I am actually been very interested in it. I just haven't been able to find the right source to find them. Aliens from 1986 as number 2. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as number 3, and Big Hero 6 as number
no 4. Die Hard?
Let me see if I can find Die Hard. Godzilla King of Monsters is number 7, so honorable mention to that. Where is Die Hard? Where is Die Hard, and
this is disgraceful.
Where is Die Hard, and where is Star Wars? Like, are you kidding me? It's not even the top 40.
Disgraceful.
Is it even in the top 50? Apparently Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter is number 44, and Among Us is number 45. It's not even in the top 50. None of them are even in the top 50. So, screw you, IMDb. Radio podcast. Not podcast, though. We're in a podcast. Radio, I have another one for later. Radio broadcast as another one. Oppenheimer as number 1. I still haven't watched that movie yet. Killers of the Flower Moon. Also haven't watched that yet. It's number 2. The Fifth Element is number 3. And 28 Days Later is number 4. Nothing really good for an honorable mention. And then the last one, character says, I have a bad feeling about this. Let's see if there's a Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars is not even at number 1. Do you want to guess what's at number 1?
Well, the only thing I would know from is Star Wars.
It's Gravity.
They say that in Gravity? Okay, it would make sense.
Gravity is number 1. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, number 2.
Did they say that on it?
Radioland Murders is number 3.
George Lucas movie.
Number 4, Star Tours, The Adventure Continue. A 5-minute short is above Star Wars. What in the world is going on? They don't
I
even
think there's some credibility problems with your plot keywords here.
Star Wars Droids is the highest one, and that's the number 16. Escape from Terror episode. So, good night. I just need to. I have it sorted out for popularity, so I don't know if that's I guess popularity is kind of the thing. Anyways, we got now we got the Arc Troppers. This is rated 8.5, considerably so. Trivia. Fives and Echo both wear a decal on their right shoulder of a 7.6 rotary cannon, aka a chain gun, with the words "for heavy" underneath in our briefs, paying homage to their respected fallen comrade from Rookies Heavy, which I found it pretty cool. I didn't actually notice that till now, so good job, Clone Wars. You did some good editing. Episode title spoken by a character as a plot keyword. I feel like that was a lot. Lucifer, number 1. Sam and Colby, the Paranormal Show, as number 2. He Always Dies, For God's Sake, Kevin, Get a Grip, number 3. What a title that is. And Patric the D as number 4. 2024, 43 minutes short TV 14. I don't even know if you ever heard of it. Star Trek: The Next Generation as an honorable mention, number 10. I don't really care anymore. I am just pissed that the Air Shaft doesn't have it in Star Wars at the top 50. And here's a plot keyword: Star Wars. Star Wars is a plot keyword. Let's see what's number 1 for popularity there. Okay, it's good. Andor, Mandalorian, Skeleton Crew, and Episode 4: A New Hope. So we're saved. The Star Wars official plot keyword has that there.
Goody.
Goody.
Consolation.
I'm buying the story arc. I'm buying all the episodes. I am placing this as number 1 above Christosis and Tordaria in the movie. So I love this arc. It's a childhood it's a childhood sensation, and I'm gonna argue to death about it if you think otherwise. So what are you going? Are you buying it? Where are you putting it on your ranking?
I'm buying it. It's not gonna be ranked number 1. I'm still gonna put Christophsis number 1 over this, only because I feel like those 2 episodes were just so unique. And what we get here, in a weird way, it almost does get taken down by having 3 episodes, because I feel like as a 2-episode arc, Rookies and Arc Troopers might be on the same level, if not better than Christophsis. But it's gonna be number 2 on my list of 4 right now. It's in the top half.
Well, which again, we only have 4 in there currently so far. So
yeah. Which next time, and I set this up.
Yeah.
We are moving on to the Malevolence trilogy,
Woo!
Which was the first official multi-parter that the show had. Which we're going to go in proper order here. We're not going to have to be jumping around too much. Season 1, episodes 2, season 1, episode 3, and season 1, episode 2, season 1, episode 3, and season 1, episode 4. That's I didn't even have popcorn to listen to. Rising Malevolence, Shadow Malevolence, and Destroy Malevolence. That's the trilogy. And I was kind of looking on here, and other than the fact that we've already covered episode 5, we're more or less going to be going pretty much straight through the rest of the
first season.
The first season. We're going to have like a few little breaks here and there, but all the way through the majority of season 1 will be going chronologically for the most part from this point on. A couple little breaks here and there, but yeah, Malevolence trilogy, the first trilogy that we had in the show. And this is where we're going to get Plo Koon coming in for the first time as an actual speaking character, which you have no idea going back in time what a big deal it was to hear Plo Koon talk, because there's an interesting trivia bit on I guess a missing scene where Plo Koon spoke that got all Star Wars fans like completely ecstatic for years. As you shovel more popcorn in. So
I thought you were gonna talk more. But no, I'm excited. I'm very excited for Plo Koon, and I thought his voice acting was perfect. So we'll get to that when we get there next 2 weeks. As of now, we are now caught up on Clone Wars, so we're gonna start posting right now and coming up Saturday. So look forward to that. We'll find out what we're doing for in between breaks, but I guess we're already in the end of April then. So
good job. Where did the time go?
Time went because my people were originally stupid. So
yeah.
So yeah, April is coming up, so that means we've already done a Minecraft movie. So I hope Jack Black carries the picture. Our next anticipated review will be the Thunderbolts. We're the Thunderbolts asterisks. So
Not that excited.
well, we gotta say the word Guardian though. It's the Thunderbolts. We're a family. I'm actually looking forward to see if it's actually going to be renamed to Dark Avengers because I think that's just what's going to happen. I'm also very excited for Sentry and I'm excited for Bucky. And then after that, actually, later on in the month, we actually get Karate Kid Legends. That's something I'm looking forward to. And also, probably one of the most anticipated movies of 2025, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2, which is the final reckoning. I don't care what you say, Colin. I'm dragging you into this one. We're gonna have a discussion on that.
100%, I'm doing it.
So I am excited, and I'm also something that I haven't mentioned to anybody yet, and even Colin. Some movies we're actually gonna be doing a spoiler review, and this is one of the movies that we're gonna be doing. So I think you're interested in that, doing the spoiler-free one and the spoiler review.
I will do both. I will be there for both. It's Mission Impossible.
Okay, perfect. So we'll be doing that for the Dead Reckoning. And I think I'm choosing between either Superman or Fantastic Four, but I think I'm leaning towards Fantastic Four. So, because I think we're gonna be doing a whole month of Superman, which is coming up real quick. I'm very excited for that. And I think those are the two only movies that we'll do a spoiler review for that after the spoiler-free stuff. So, look forward to that. I'm very excited for the Thunderbolts, and we'll see you when we get to I can't even say
Malevolence.
Malevolence. And thank you for listening. Thank you for the people in Africa who are listening. I forget Zambia was one of them. So we'll see you when we get to Malevolence with General Grievous and an appearance from Padme, which I feel like is pulled out of the shows. But we'll get to that. We'll get to it soon. My name is Patrick, and do better.
Oh, you stole my line.
Yes!
I thought if there's anything you're not going to steal from me this time, and I already I'm stalling because I literally closed all my notes because I was so sure I would just be able to say do better. So I will say then, my name is Colin, and no, that was my opening line. Oh, I'm stalling even more. My name is Colin, and you sound strange. Is something wrong with your vocabulary?
Thank you for listening to the new episode of Cantina Cuisine. Make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to listen to new episodes coming out every week just for you. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for updates and follow-ups to our episodes and other content that you might like. Again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Peace out, nerds.